wonderful people, my name is the Dragon Ball Nerd, and today we are talking about a subject that's been a hot topic all over TikTok.
I mean, he already conceded to the fact of him not beating Wonder Woman, so he's not beating Aquaman. So I was just asking, did he want to see the scan? I can pull up the scan, but we can bring up the next person while we bring up the scan.
I think the rest of these people, I know, they agree that, Frieza gets, clapped by, Aquaman.
Yeah, I was going to say, if anyone says that it's inconsistent between Wonder Woman and Aquaman, I have multiple instances.
Yeah,
I got camera access, so I can show all of them.
If I made this video before the TikTok ban or after the TikTok ban, but I'm just letting you guys know that this conversation was about Black Frieza versus various people within the Justice League. So I got a little one-on-one with King Lion and had a discussion about him on a Discord discussion. And I got some really good key info, and as well as listening to other content creators that oppose that believe that Black Frieza will lose to someone like Aquaman. Well, I kind of find a lot of those videos disingenuous because I have found out by reading the books itself that there's some information that was misinformed. And if they feel that I was incorrect, you have a right to correct me. But if you feel that I, the Dragon Ball Nerd, is incorrect about information, feel free to put the comments down below. But there are 3 factors in order to basically have a discussion: kindness, respect, and information. These are the 3 key opponents to basically have a discussion of why Black Frieza actually either defeats or loses in this gauntlet. And well, with my information that I have found, reading over 40 different types of comics, either from my physical collection or from a digital collections, or happen to basically find the scans within the TikTok or comic book community. So I really thank them for that. And all sources will be cited at the end of the video. And well, we're gonna start from the very top all the way to the bottom. So let's begin. This right here is my handy dandy notebook where I basically write all my information and as well as my current manga that I'm writing out. But this is everything that I have up to now about all the information I have, and all sources are cited, written down, and explained and what exactly happened there. So, thank you. I really appreciate basically the time and effort that went into this. I love you, tablet. Let's get into round 1. Now, first up is a very hard one because there's a lot of people throughout TikTok that love Batman to the point where they'll defend him to death. So there are a few things that you need to note about Batman. He is Gotham's best detective. He is also known as the Cape Crusader, the brave and the bold, everything above, you know, one and only Bruce Wayne. So if you were expecting us to use the Hellbat suit or the Batbuster or even just a variation of Batman that basically seems a little bit overpowered, no, we are using current Batman. And that means the current one would be at 155 as the recording of this video today. And the reason why I believe that Batman does not defeat Black Frieza is the fact that he is still a mortal human. Someone that basically just has peak abilities. Well, one of the informations I want to show right here, in issue 139 to 150, Batman v Failsafe arc, Batman was unable to defeat Zur-En-Arrh empowered Failsafe by himself. It took Batman and the Bat family to kill Jason Todd, aka Red Hood, to trigger Failsafe to the advantage in issue 148. Jason sacrificed himself for Failsafe to trigger their code, momentarily freezing him in place. It was quoted by Batman himself.
Batman doesn't kill. And if he does, he has to face the consequences. Batman 148 2024.
To add on, currently Batman has nothing that could stop Frieza's attack. Batman's peak abilities won't be enough for Frieza. Let's use some information that we already know about Frieza, even in his golden form. We do know that Frieza, with one hand, can put his hand to the floor and explode an entire planet, which Whis has to go back in time and redo everything so that Goku can correct that mistake. And those that are stating that basically this is Batman without prep time, one information that we can actually pull from the current comic books is the absolute comic books. If you didn't read it, then here's some information. Batman basically was one-upped by Amanda Waller, another human. Or if we took the comic currently about Oswald Cobblepot's son, that basically put hands on Batman. So another human put hands on the Cape Crusader. And this is the thing about Batman. Batman is known as a character that's going to lose and then do his prep time to basically overcome the challenges and trials and tribulations that he's gonna come for the villains or his rogue gallery. All Frieza needs to do is point his finger and explode him like he did Krillin. The fight will be over before it even started. Next up is Martian Manhunter. Now, if you guys don't know who Martian Manhunter is, he's an underrated character in the Justice League series. Now, here's the thing about him. He is from another planet. He can morph into anything he wants. He has superhuman abilities, which include telepathy, flight, invisibility, phasing, super strength, and Martian vision. Pretty cool. His only weakness is to fire, and that's something that Martian Manhunter will not reveal to Frieza because he does not want his weakness to be exploited. But we do know that in certain comic books it explains how he was able to use telepathy and allow him to scan areas, even an entire planet. That's pretty awesome. In recent discussions, people believe that if you're able to punch Superman or knock him down, then you must be stronger or as strong as Superman. Well, there's some outliers and some context to those comics, and we have to understand the type of character Clark Kent was at this point in time in the comics. For example, in DC Comic Presents issue number 27, 1980, Martian Manhunter vs. Superman was able to go to a planet, and Superman was trying to get this key to basically continue his mission, but Martian Manhunter says, I am the protector of this planet, and I cannot let you basically take what is supposed to be protected. I feel that this could be a safe risk. So, in return, while Superman was basically trying to explain to Martian Manhunter and try to de-escalate the situation, Martian Manhunter basically sucker punches Superman, and immediately Superman returns fire and knocks him down immediately. Now, here's an interesting thing about Martian Manhunter. He has a durability where basically he can regenerate from a single drop of blood. Something that's pretty familiar even in Dragon Ball Super's universe cosmology. So basically this is something that Martian Manhunter is going to have a problem with, because we have characters that are able to basically blast an entire body with a ki blast and destroy every single living cell. So what's to say that Frieza can do the same as well? But it doesn't mean the fight will be closer than you think. I think that Martian Manhunter would actually prove a challenge for Frieza, and that this will be actually a very interesting fight to see if basically people were to discuss about this. There's hundreds and hundreds of comics we can go through every day to basically prove about the speed of someone like Martian Manhunter. But at the end of the day, if basically someone that can destroy an entire planet, someone that's able to basically implode someone or destroy every single cell on everyone in a single planet, then that tells a lot about basically Frieza's feat, even in his base form. Next up, we have Hal Jordan, aka Green Lantern, on this gauntlet. And the one thing I want to mention to people is that you got to remember about Hal Jordan. I did do a basically origin story for Hal Jordan. And the thing about him is that I'm going based off what I've read. So if anything were to change, you can correct me down in the comments. If I were to say that basically Hal Jordan's weakness is the color yellow, you guys wouldn't believe me. So if Frieza went to Frieza Black and all the way to yellow, the question will be remaining about this, right? Is that could Hal Jordan even affect Frieza in his golden form, considering golden is a type of yellow? But don't worry, I will give an interesting feat that basically needs context. In JLA 2006, number 29, we do see that he was able to pull a planet while being assisted by other people of the Justice League to push the Earth out of orbit for safety reasons. We also do know that while his strength, basically with the assistance of people of the Justice League moving the Earth, we have to put this in mind. Someone like Hal Jordan is not as fast as Frieza. I know I repeated this before, but this is something that is true. That his speed is unmatched when it comes to basically Dragon Ball lore. Now, one thing that we do know, even in the Budokai Tenkaichi, people can't basically perceive speed at a certain frame. Now, our eyes go about 40 frames. Our phones go around 60 frames. And there's actually frames higher than that. Like, it's crazy to know that one of the weakness of Hal Jordan is the color yellow. And because of that, if Frieza goes to Golden Frieza, then we'll basically have a fight where Hal Jordan's fighting something that he can't even touch because his ring does not touch anything that is yellow. But I will say this, unless there is a current issue that you guys can probably bring up about basically Hal Jordan putting hands on something that is yellow, meaning that it is canon and that it's current, then it would basically change my perspective of actually putting hands on Frieza. But if he's in Frieza Black, I'm pretty sure he can at least land a lucky punch at most. Next up is Barry Allen, and the reason why I say it's Barry Allen, I had to use a search engine to find this exact image and what comic it's from, and it's basically Barry Allen. And here's the thing about Barry Allen. He doesn't have superpowers currently. So in that light, Frieza would automatically defeat him. But I'm gonna entertain the idea. One of the things that you need to read is actually issue number 14, where it's stated that he has no power or no connection to the Speed Force. That is something that is current and currently what Barry Allen's dealing with. I'm pretty sure they're going to give him his powers back later in the future to bring him back if they need to, but currently they are retiring Barry Allen. So we know how Martian Manhunter can phase through objects. Now phasing for Flash is kind of different. He has to vibrate his molecules fast enough to phase through atoms. So that's something that's really cool about him, that he has to move his atoms in order to move through an object. But it's not enough to basically take down someone like Frieza. But we could say at the same time, while he is the fastest man alive going back in time, how many times until he runs out of gas? You know what I mean?
To use some mental math, we'll basically go by Green Arrow number 26. In 2016, it was stated that he needs to eat 50 times his weight. By using basic math, 195 pounds stated on the fandom of DC Comics, times the 50 amount times of calories, that would equal about 9,750 calories a day.
Like, for example, what is going to happen when Frieza destroys the planet? Barry Allen can't breathe in the vacuum of space. But what we could say, he can go back in time, he can try again, but it'll be an infinite loop until, you know, he gets tired out. Next up for Aquaman, it's kind of hard to basically explain a few things of how people really believe that Aquaman can defeat Frieza Black.
He stops at Aquaman. He stops at Aquaman. He stops at Aquaman.
Now here's the thing about that. They try to use the scan for New 52 Aquaman Volume 4, Death of the King, where he basically tried to push a whole tectonic plate. And now with that, there's kind of a couple things that you need to know. While amazing the feat is to hold a tectonic plate, the thing about that is, what is that going to do when Frieza blows up the planet? This is a reoccurring issue, a running trend. We have not seen Aquaman breathe in outer space in the vacuum of space. To add on, he literally bled by getting shot by bullets. Now his durability is not as strong as everyone makes it out to be. They say that he was able to punch Superman. People try to use the scan that if Aquaman was able to put hands on Clark Kent's Superman, that he is able to be as strong or equal to the strength of Superman, which basically with the context in the comic book, Superman was de-escalating the situation, similar to Superman vs. Martian Manhunter 1980 DC Presents, issue number 27. So if we look at both of these scans, similar cases. De-escalate the situation. He gets sucker punched. He throws the punch back and knocks out Aquaman immediately. So it's just, there's a lot of inconsistency about durability and strength are two different things. You could be super strong, but your durability could be very weak. Just for context, disclaimer, this is not power scaling. This is just basically information that people need to take in. There is context in these comic books that people are not considering because they think that if they see something, they believe it, rather than read something and get the context and bring that information to light. It's basically misinformation from looking rather than reading. Here's the thing about Wonder Woman. She is going to lose. And the simple fact is that she needs bracelets to deflect bullets off of her. The only thing I could say is if Frieza gets captured by the lasso of truth, would bound him, would be one thing. But Frieza is way too fast to even be captured by her. One of the things that I've noticed about Wonder Woman is that it's a consistent thing where she needs basically a sword, a shield, bracelets.
In layman terms, if you saw the scan earlier from Justice League 41 to 43, so Wonder Woman got a bullet lodged in her throat, and Superman basically cauterized her throat to slow the bleeding down. As to opposed to Dragon Ball, guns and blasters won't do any effects to Frieza, because if we look at the Dragon Ball lore, if you're in peak physical condition, bullets will just ricochet off your body, similar to Goku in the original Dragon Ball series, to Raditz getting shot by a shotgun by the farmer. I'm unfortunately say that Wonder Woman would be demolished.
Now, lastly, I want everything to be taken with a grain of salt for a reason. Now, there's quite a few reasons why I would say this. Is because we have people in the comic book community, in the anime community, that are very harmful to people in certain spaces. And while I did all this research, read, and basically cited all of my sources, there will be people out there that are going to disagree with me. And that's okay. But be respectful when you do it, because at the end of the day, these are just fictional characters that we're talking about. And this is just a fun little conversation to interact with you guys and give you guys information and things you probably didn't know about comic book characters. And because people are going to disagree with me, this is what I'll say. Go pick up a comic book. Go pick up a manga. Go to your local comic book shop and support them. And go to your local manga shop. And I just want to state this. It's really good to read these information with context, because then sometimes when someone brings a scan online, we're going to come across a few people that are going to basically take this out of context or basically stitch two images that are unrelated to each other to basically push a narrative that is not true. By no means. I actually gotta say this, that I'm not perfect, and I'm pretty sure I missed a couple issues. Maybe I basically missed a comic book here and there. But that's the thing about this. Respect, kindness, and information. Those are the 3 golden rules in order for us to keep on continuing to enjoy the comics that we love, enjoy the mangas we love. But if you guys continue to basically spread these misinformations, then we're going to have one big issue where people are spreading a narrative that is not true. Let me just help you guys out a little bit, where my perspective is. Superman can defeat Frieza. Superman can defeat Goku. Superman can defeat Vegeta. Doomsday can actually defeat all the 3 that I mentioned. Like for Marvel, we have Scarlet Witch. We have basically characters that literally can eradicate you with just a thought. And this is the thing that people need to realize. People in Marvel and DC will lose to people in Dragon Ball. And people in Dragon Ball will lose to people in Marvel and DC. And this is because this is a fact. We do know there are characters that are weak in Dragon Ball. We do know there's characters weak in the Marvel and DC universe. But one thing that I do stand on is basically trying to find a fair argument to meet the medium of basically leading you guys where you need to go. And I say just read these books. That's all you have to do. You don't need to listen to someone else to tell you what the book is about. You can read it yourself. If you do not have the time, there's other ways to read comic books. We have talented narrators on this app, specifically YouTube here, where there are comic book enthusiasts and manga enthusiasts that read the whole manga and comic book for you. But in my opinion, I believe that you guys should be picking up these books. If you don't have the money, there are other means of necessary to ask for assistance. Maybe make a Discord group. Maybe basically make a chat group where you can read these mangas from other people that already own them and share the scans with you so you have a manga to read. In May, we have free comic book day. If you can't afford a comic book, there is a free comic book day where everyone gets free comic books. We have something like Marvel Unlimited where it's $10 a month just to get access to every single Marvel comic. We have things like Amazon Prime where it only costs about $4 or $2 just to get an issue of a comic book that you can read online. So, all I'm asking, guys, is please read a comic book. And if you like this video, please like, comment, share, and hit that notification bell today. And I will see you guys next time.
you.